Hello, hello. Yeah, you should join the Roll20. So, we have just a picture of a person for a little bit here, but for the rest of the night, they'll see their beautiful face. So, I guess we should review what happened last time on the FRS Auspicious.
What happened?
Does anyone recall?
I rolled bad. That's all.
We played detective on the space elevator explosion.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. You did. So you played detective there. What did you find out?
Basically looks like the explosives that were used in all the terrorist attacks were manufactured on whatever the heck the name of this. I gotta open my notes. I don't have my notes open.
Oh, where's the map at? There we go.
Finvar.
Yes, on Finvar.
So it looks like, yeah, the explosives they used in the terrorist attacks were made on Finvar, smuggled out, and it's our prime candidate for the location of their main base at this point. And it looks like the explosives went off in the elevator, just basically a lucky break for us, because that's what tipped us off that that's where they're coming from.
Yeah,
They
you were
rolled bad,
tracing
too.
it back this way. You probably would have had to do a bunch more work to try to figure out what was going on. But yes, you traced it back there, and then you went to Lervik Hold and hung out in the marketplace a little bit
Oh, that's right.
and embarrassed yourselves and figured out that you were not, for the first time, on an XMI controlled settlement, and thus all the money is different and everything's different, and you don't have any money and you don't know how things work, I think. So because the place you are on, Lervik Hold, is run, the faction where all the money and everything's coming from is the House of Sosparita. Wow, we should change that name. It's hard to pronounce. And XMI is actually a very minor faction there, so they actually run that port and everything. And that became very obvious when you get to Lervik Hold, that the whole planet is run that way. You just didn't really notice in Vinvar City because you didn't really do anything there except hang out at the transportation hubs that XMI runs and do research and stuff. Cool. So, if I remember correctly, you're on your way to see the Holdmaster.
Holdmaster. Yes, so we can get some credits.
Yes, you wanted to look at all that stuff. So let's run through our renown and all that sort of jazz, and we'll need this as part of that. Okay, so did you guys encounter any new factions and get to know anybody or know anything about the new factions?
Well,
Yes, you
yeah,
started.
the indigenous people.
Oh, you started talking to the House of Sosabrita people.
Right.
That's the first time you'd ever met them, right?
Yes.
Yep.
So as you've had an encounter with them, everybody can add an association with the House of Sosparita on their sheet. And let's show you how that's spelled. Let's go back to this sheet, campaign setting. And it is over here with the Tarnish Interregnum. No, it is part of the Architiculum of Diomedes.
Wow. Sounds important.
Yeah, they run basically the quadrant.
Did we make that one up?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, it's what happens when you name things that are difficult. That is what you should all know when you play this game on your own. Is not to make up
No,
stuff
right.
that is irritating to you later. Your future self will not. Thank your past self. So it's spelled like this.
Okay. Copy,
House
paste.
of Sosi Patara, I believe. I think it's Patara.
And then did we add 1 die to it, right? Just
Yes, everybody can take that to 1 die unless you
Okay.
actually made a contact with that, and in which case we're going to be marking that contact down, but I don't think anybody actually made a contact, so...
not yet.
That's kind of what we're about to attempt.
Yes, indeed.
Possibly.
Perhaps. Indubitably. Other affirmative words.
I want to make a contact out of that musician I met.
Yes, I'm sure the random musician is going to be like the best contact ever.
Oh, yeah.
He probably
Yeah.
knows everything that's going on.
He loved you. Huh.
Oh, he will when I go back and give him actual local money.
Yes. So, local money works the same way. Is a type of association. You can see local credit for home port. Since you spent almost all your time at your home port before, it was totally copacetic. But now that you're out and about, you're going to be having to do negotiations and add to your contract for this. And then basically you're determining how many dice you're going to get. Sorry?
Nothing. It was just a Canadian joke.
Oh,
Oh, I want to hear the Canadian joke. Come on.
you won't get it.
No, I was just saying oot and a boot.
I was.
Oh,
no,
I thought
was
you were going to
gonna
make one about social credit. Anyways.
That's
funny.
no joke.
they were a joke. What are you talking about? Oh, social credit used to be a political party in Canada. They don't exist
Social
anymore.
credit. Sounds like a band.
Yeah, they became the Conservative Party. Anywho, so you've
What
encountered
goes on
that.
up there? I don't know.
That's the punchline.
You didn't gain any contacts. You didn't really resolve any contacts, and there you go. So achievements. Let's go over that. So everybody get one point for the reactor. Put it down.
I'm at full, so I don't.
You get to overcharge it, or you can add it to the ship.
I will overcharge that shit.
Okay. Did you
Nice.
cause turmoil if your crew
Oh,
altered the status
yes.
quo last session by changing the world around them? I don't remember you doing that, unless you think every tourist in a random marketplace causes turmoil.
I do think. No, I'm just kidding. That's not.
Okay, so did you take a risk to follow your drive? So, Adi, what's your drive? Bloodthirst. I don't remember you killing anyone.
Nope. There wasn't any opportunity other than I could have just.
You
created
could have
really
just
bad
shot
problems.
somebody. Be like, "Pfft, there we go, I'm going to get an extra charge next week.
Not really good at bloodthirsty.
That would be a risk. You guys would be chased halfway across the sector for that. Excitement? Pilot? New Deeb?
No, I don't.
I don't remember taking any extra risks. No.
No, I don't think
Okay.
I did any excitement.
And you didn't do anything about curiosity. Okay, cool. So, did you resolve... oh yeah, you get one for that too. Yes, if you resolved any of your contacts, which we already discussed, you did not. And victory, did you achieve one of your terms of your contract? You did. You, as we can see, investigated the space elevator on Finvar. So yes, you'll get another point for that. If you can't fit it on you and you don't have any overcharge left, you can put it on the ship.
Put it on the ship. Put it on the ship.
Our ship is overcharged now, too.
Wow, you guys are doing awesome then. You might want to increase the capacity
It's
of
more,
your reactor.
it's more just we had a short session last week, so we didn't use
Yeah.
up all our charge.
That's a
Yeah.
good strategy though. If you just have like let's just have a chill session. I mean, that's kind of like resting though, right? I mean,
Well, you completed part of your contract, so it's not that chill,
true,
right?
true.
I don't think we did that terrible a job of writing the contract that we could
No.
say that. So, okay, breach. Well, we didn't break any contact terms, or I would have something crossed out on the sheet. Training. So, training. As we recall, it means you can move one specialty die within the department. So you can move one specialty, which is the indented skills, or the indented specialties like anthropology or history, which is a specialty of culture. You can move one of those within their department, which is communications or operations. And you can move one of your training anywhere. So if you're like, I'm on the ground and I'm going to probably spend a lot of time wandering around in the jungle or talking to people or bargaining for spices, you can move stuff around accordingly.
I'm going to move one from economy.
Into
Politic or interface? I'm trying to decide.
You can't move it to politic.
Why not?
Because you're already trained in politic.
Oh, I'm trained in everything. Can't do that.
You're not trained in biosciences, geosciences, piloting.
That's not within the department, though, is it?
That's a training. You can move it anywhere.
Oh, okay.
If you're talking about moving the specialty, i.e., in this case, it would have been you don't have any specialties in economy. But if you wanted to move research to something else, you could. Within comms. So yes, you could take geosciences or biosciences instead if you want. But once you do have money, that's when the economy roles come in. So if you go to try to buy a bunch of random stuff, it is an economy role. And if you want to buy some good stuff, it is an economy trade role. And if you want to analyze someone's finances or catch the fact that they're cheating you, accounting often comes in handy. What about you, Zatal? Did you move some stuff?
I wanted to move a point into research, but I'm trying to figure out what to take it from.
Well, you can go to point in linguistics. You got one in all your self-ontology skills. Administration.
Yeah, I guess administration.
So that requires me to zero that out, unfortunately.
I can...
You know how to do that? Sweet.
Yeah, I got it.
I forget, you know, all this stuff. Awesome. And you can also move one of your trained, but you're probably pretty happy with it from your conversations last time. Although you could take something in geosciences instead of something else if you wished. Or mechatronics. Although you do have a mechanic on board, so...
I want like I always get confused at what the main one is called and the ones below it.
Skills and specialties?
Yeah, I need like some reference, like something on the sheet to inform me.
Yeah.
What to say?
It's only a certain amount of room. These are specialties in these skills. I don't know what else you call. I mean, they're on RPG sheets, so they're probably skills or attributes.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Anyways, what about you, Noob Deeb? Did you move anything?
Yeah, I'm in the midst of moving my hack up to bio mechanics, I think.
Interesting. Are you going to move something out of one of your other skills to make biosciences also trained?
Oh, do I need to do that?
You don't? I was just asking. I mean, the only things you can't move it out of is perception and pilot. You can move one of the other ones. You can move it out of mechatronics and have biosciences at 3, and then agriculture. Did you say biomechanics would be all the way at 3? So that'd be pretty cool. It's up to you. Whatever you like.
No, I don't have any in biomechanics right now.
Yeah, no, but you have one in mechatronics.
Oh, I see what you
have one in athletics, and you do have a mechanic on board who you can probably get to do those things if you want.
Right.
But you don't have to. I mean, you guys don't have to specialize. I was just saying you can move that if you wished.
Yeah, I have to take the one out of hack.
There you go.
I moved my economy to biosciences.
Do you remember how to take the one out of hack? You're just looking for it on the giant list?
Yep.
Yeah, I hate this.
It's at the top. I missed it because it's right at the top.
Is it the first one? There it is.
Yeah.
You can either delete it or change it to 0.
I changed it to 0.
There you go. Oh, I see that now. Cool. Okay. That's
Boosh.
enough homework, I guess. So, let's play, as it says in my book. That's the next stage, the game. I'm supposed to play the game now. Crazy. Okay, so where are we?
I attack the darkness.
Oh, wait, I'll type your darkness. Okay, so I don't know if this is a sheet to be on. Okay, let's just go to New Titan so you remember where you are. Okay, so you are on the world of Finvar. So we have like the camera, it's beautiful black sky, stars, and we tilt down and see the kind of pinky brown purpley planet of Finvar below it. And we zoom in and across the planet, see the Great Plains and the lakes, swamps, and the oceans of the planet, and we find ourselves on an island, a jungle island with massive amounts of ooze, profuse amounts of ooze everywhere. These ooze plants that are like changing and shifting all the time. And we zoom towards this this large. It's not huge. You see this hold, and it's a hold. It's got walls, and they're all made of like this gray material that seems to expel the ooze. Ooze can't stick to its non-stick material, a big frying pan or something. And all the buildings are built out of the material, and the walls are built out of the material, and they have roofs that they move in over things all the time. And it's really hot, so there's lots of outdoor spaces and such. And the whole place has these blowers that blow down cooler air to keep it below 30 degrees. Or around 30 degrees instead of the natural 50 that it may be. Although this area is a little bit lower in the atmosphere, or a little bit lower away from the equator, so it is only naturally around 40 degrees here, so it's a little more livable. Anyway, so the sweaty jungle, and we find ourselves amongst saffron silk dividers of the marketplace, and we see a group who is sticking out mildly amount. Are you guys in EVA suits right now?
I imagine if I was in the jungle, yeah.
You're not in the jungle, you're in the city.
Oh, okay.
I know Zatal City wasn't. I can't remember if you guys said you were.
I wasn't, no.
Okay. So you see a human and a set. Are you? Sorry, New Deeb?
Yeah, New Deeb probably will be.
Okay, so we see, despite the fact that there's many Anak, your only Anak in the party, on the crew, isn't particularly blending in because he's wearing a pretty much a spacesuit. And he's walking around. Your helmet, is it kind of just up?
Oh, well, if it's like a spacesuit, I thought it was more like battle, like military kind of outfit.
It isn't just like, okay, so an EVA suit is an EVA suit. Like, when you sit down to put it on, and it folds around you, like, and it has the different platings on it. Right? So, it's a little more than what they wore on The Martian.
Yeah. Oh, no, I'm in just my ship suit.
Okay.
We discussed what the ship suits look like. Mine just has a kind of a weird look to it because I'm an Anak.
Yeah, but there's lots of Anaks. You see just Anak moving around through the city, the saffron silk dividers dividing all the different parts of the marketplace from one another as you guys move across towards the political neighborhood, the center of town. So you move from what is kind of like this, kind of like, it's like a poor neighborhood, but it's kind of fancied up with like handmade, hand style painting, and it's kind of neat looking. And you're what's called the spice souk, because you got a map at the last place. That's what it's marked as, which is another word for a marketplace. So there's these piles of spices and various fruits and alien vegetables, and you saw the people, remember, who are cooking like meat on a stick and various roots and vegetables on various sticks and other sorts of things. There's like soup vendors, and so you move through all these vendors. You're kind of moving through this very crowded town, and you exit the marketplace and into these smaller alleys, and you see all these different types of the buildings are all like big group buildings. They don't seem to be like individual houses you see as you move through this city. You don't see any like this guy's house with some sort of lawn or something. You just see large buildings, and people kind of hanging out around them, and you see you can see some children playing, like Onyx children playing various weird Onyx sports where they slide down the alleys and knock things over and stuff. It's heartwarming to you, I'm sure.
This is just like home.
You move towards, and you see up on a little bit of a hillock. This is why you can see it ahead. As you move up, you realize this whole neighborhood kind of slant upward, and on the top of the hill is what you would pretty much call a longhouse. Like, it's a big long building that's probably a story and a half tall with a peaked one of these non-stick roofs, and it sticks out quite far because below that, it's one of the few buildings with it. It's like a beige and terracotta kind of colored painted side of the building. It's quite nice. It's got this large opening which is also quite ornate, and there's stairs that lead up towards it, and you know from the map you have, this is marked on it, it's the Holdmaster's longhouse. And you guys head right up in there. You notice there's some guards out front, mostly Onyx, but there's the odd human about. And when you reach the front, they kind of give you a look, and they're like, and they have these, they look like they're made out of a series of shells of some sort. They almost look like rock on one side, and on the other side they're like this speckled, bright orange and cyan color. And they're holding these large, you'd say they're spears, but they're kind of shaped like a S. They got a big S curve to them and a little point on them, and they kind of got them slightly crossed in front of you, and they look over and they're like, "Your business visitors?"
Yes.
Yeah. So those spears that they're holding, those are new to me, right? That's not an Onok thing. That's a local Onok thing?
That's a local thing. You've never seen.
Weird.
They seem to be just what you would call like ceremonial.
Right.
Like, maybe, I don't know. Do you know any? Do you have good geosciences or biosciences things? You could roll if you want.
I do have biosciences now.
Do it.
Suddenly I'm an expert.
Suddenly. Yeah, so you can roll on that if you want to try to figure out what sort of animal they're made out of. Or you can roll like a history thing to see if you can figure out, or a culture roll to see if you can figure out what they're about.
Would it be biomechanics?
It would probably be agriculture.
You're trying to figure out what the spears are made out of right now? Is that what you're trying to do?
Yeah, he's just glancing at the spears, and I'm saying that if he wants to know about it, he can.
Cool.
Oh, you went 3 difficulty. Yes.
Well, I just assumed you didn't say anything.
It was not 3 difficulty. It was only 1.
Oh, okay.
It's not very difficult. So you got 3
Sorry.
successes. So you can tell that they're an alien species. They're made of some sort of alien species. You can see that there's cuts on them. They're like laser cut. So whatever creature they're from, they're basically a whole bunch of like the shell that rolls or holds them, like that contains them, is a banded shell, and they're connected together. And the curve comes from the fact that the animal obviously has a curved shell. I mean, you're very used to curved shells. Mm-hmm. You have one. And it is obviously local. And
okay.
Sorry, what?
I was just wondering, they're not made out of other Onyx, are they?
No, they're some local creature that you don't know of. But it's obviously local and quite large. It's a huge creature as a type, and they seem quite proud of them.
Yeah, they're holding them out. so prominently.
Yeah.
Hey, you make that yourself?
And he looks over at you and he looks at his spear and he goes, "Yes, I go on safari. I
So you
killed
kill
one
the
of
beast.
these."
You kill the beast and then you make this out of it.
Yes, he looks at you and goes, "Yes, only boulder hunters can carry boulder spears."
I'm the boldest. I need to make one. Captain, I request permission.
Denied.
What?
You'd need to kill a boulder first, is what he said. So they look at you and go, "What is your business here?"
Wait,
were
he called
about
it
to
a
say
what?
something. Sorry,
Oh.
I didn't hear you, dude.
Oh, I was just wondering what they called it.
A boulder.
A boulder.
Yes.
Mm.
Like a rock.
All right. It's on my list now.
Okay. So,
yeah, we're here. We're representatives of Xiaomi Musk, and we're hoping to be able to meet with the God damn it! What is he? Something master?
Hold
Master.
Master, you're in a hold.
Hold master.
You're in Lyric Hold, or Lyric Hold, and the Master of the Hold. They look you up and down, and they're like, "Ah, free spacers." Because you guys are free spacers, obviously, right? Like, you blend, but you're not. You said you had insignia for the ship and stuff on you?
Yeah.
Okay. So, like...
Yeah,
you
we
need
might want to go
contract.
more undercover than that, but anyway.
Yeah, you can tear them off. Like, they're probably Velcroed on or whatever. Or you can do a fabrication kind of thing to make, like, totally undercover clothes for New Deed. If you didn't want to be, you wouldn't... You also project on your pans who you are and stuff in general, if you wish. So if you're going totally undercover, you wouldn't project, like, almost nothing or fake names or something like that. But I thought because you were here, you
Yeah,
wanted to know who you were.
to go to this place, that's fine. Yeah.
Yes.
We need to keep that in mind, though. Going
So
forward.
he gets this from your pan because you guys did say you're kind of civilian dressed. You're not like you don't have matching outfits. They don't have Star Trek stripes on them or anything, right? Okay.
Great.
So they know because your pans are projecting who you are. They're like, you're here for contract. Yes. Often that is done by comms, but it is good of you to come and meet in person.
And we need an ATM machine.
We could have done all that comes.
Yeah, so they're just kind of waiting, and then I was like, he will see you. And they let you in.
Excellent.
So you walk down, you basically walk into the building, and your eyes quickly adjust to the change in light. It's kind of dark in here. There
People
is
have that infravision.
like a kind of like a holographic display in the center of the room, and there are these same silk dividers in a variety of like spice kind of colors that line the walls and sometimes kind of a little closer in. So you're basically looking at like an Arabic style recreation of a Viking longhouse. At the far end, you see a slightly raised platform with a chair on it, and there is a human sitting in this chair.
Oh, human, huh? That's strange. The Hold Master is the human.
You have seen a few humans around, so.
No, I haven't.
You
Oh,
have.
have I? I have? Okay.
I described them 5 seconds ago. I just have to go through my sheets to find this person's thing. And there's a couple people standing down below. They're talking to him about something. There's several other like guards, and there's a group of people who are in this kind of odd outfit with extra padding in around the interior of the thighs and tall boots, and they're carrying these like short look like extendable pikes of some sort that are kind of like short right now, and they're kind of just hanging around in the general area.
Riding pants and riding boots or something.
Yeah, they totally do look like there's some sort of riding pants. And the hold master you suspect who's sitting in the chair is having a discussion with someone as you walk up. They're finishing. And he's like,
wait, the guy, say again?
The hold master is finishing a conversation with one of the people that are hanging out, and they're about to leave. They're just kind of leaving as you come up.
Okay.
And they thank him, and then they leave. And the people you're seeing that are talking to him look like other petitioners of some sort, and they're dressed in like jumpsuits, like they are factory workers, and the jumpsuits, you have no idea what color they were originally. They're every color now.
Huh.
They're stained in it looks the natural colors you're seeing, same as the silk on the walls, but every color all put together, like it's just been stained repeatedly in different colors.
Wow.
And they thank him. They don't look too happy, and they're leaving.
Some sort of harvesters.
Unrest at the tie-dye factory.
Perhaps.
Groovy outfit, man. Where can I get some?
So, they're wearing a cross between like a paint outfit and a medical outfit, like a biotech medical outfit. So anyway, do you say anything to them, or do you let them just go, or you just talk like you were making jokes, maybe? Okay, cool. So,
yeah, probably not.
Most of them are Anak. There's a couple Septocs and some humans. And standing before you is this hold master. You're sitting, actually, in his chair. He looks at you, and he goes, I am Torn Yorkin, hold master here. What do you wish?
What do we wish? This is such a nice place to give wishes.
We'd like to, what is it? A contract? We'd like to open a contract. We're from,
yes. So your main business here is to add an addendum to your contract that allows you basically to get some money, get some local credits, because you guys thought it might be fun to have some local credits. And, so you could buy food and stuff, too.
Yeah.
And your main mission here is to find out where the Marquis de Rue are.
Yeah.
So, are you starting with one or the other?
Well, I want credits so that we can, spread them around. And
yeah, for sure. We also have trade goods. How does that work in the game?
Okay,
we haven't gotten into that yet.
Okay, let's go to the contract page. Let's talk.
We're not allowed to trade on this planet. They're going to kill us.
Yes, you actually do not have trade rights for this planet. But, in general, it works the same way as it does when you want to buy something. And then, if you put more points into them, you can change the cost.
Like a stinky piece of meat.
So, let me double check all this info so I quote it correctly.
That's what I was going to buy.
Of course you were.
One stinky meat, please.
Okay, so here's how it works. The residual. So opening a trade, as you can see on the contract, you guys are looking at the contract as well.
Mm-hmm.
Let me scroll down so we can actually see the trade article. Okay, so the opening trade with Zumi Muskai G costs 1. For everything you buy, it doesn't cost you any more reserve. You can open as much as you want with it. But if you do spend reserve, you decrease the cost by 10 RV. Unless you're selling something and then you're increasing the cost by 10 RV. It's that simple. So, you would do a negotiation with this fellow, do a roll, and depending on how much reserve you get, you could spend 1 to open trade with them, and 2 to, or another 1 to buy the credits that you want. You wouldn't have to spend for that. And then if you're selling this stuff, you would get the cost of it, but you could also increase how much you're getting by putting more points into it. Does that make sense? And then... Sorry, I keep talking.
Clear as mud.
Oh, I don't understand what the difficulty is. Okay, let's look at your ship sheet. So say you wanted to buy stuff with this. So you would do a negotiation with him. You go, hey, I want to sell you stuff. And they'd be like, yay, okay, let's open a trade. So you type down open trade with House of Cesperita.
Mm-hmm.
And then you would have to spend at least 1 point from your negotiation with that. So let's say that's economy and stuff, and you roll 4 points. You add 4 points to the reserve, which go up to 18, and you'd have to spend at least 1 to open trade. And then when you added additional things, like getting the various goods that you want, or local credits, or which is actually privilege, not a trade. So you'd also have to gain access to the port, which costs you 25 RV and 1 reserve. You were allowed to basically use the landing port because XMI's involvement, but you don't actually have real access to this area. They're just kind of letting you wander around because they don't give a shit too much. But if you actually want things like local credits with the area, or dry dock, or class rank, or bounty hunter things, or any other sort of local privileges, or you want to get some sort of network contact, like you want somebody you would know and they become an instant contact, you can buy all those things, but you have to get port access.
Right. Like being able to track down some terrorist group without pissing off the local authorities, kind of.
If that's a problem for them. See, it's very local. So,
right.
Like, if it's a place that doesn't really care about this sort of thing, they might not even charge you for that. But other places might. Like
right. Some other place, yeah. Right. That's more locked down.
Yeah, they'd be like, you need a bounty hunter license to do this here. This place, as you do not know. We'll figure that out as we do it, but they might not care and might not even have a bounty hunter license to sell you, let alone, or a permit to make you take. So for 1 reserve, procure 1 point of local credit for 50 residual value. So you have to get the privilege principal asset, which basically means you gain access to the port. So you're going to gain access to all House Sapretta ports in New Titan. Not just this one, they have others. Not tons, so it kind of sucks that it costs you 25 RV. So if you want that, if you're going straight to business, you can do that. You can also question him or talk to him about what's going on in his town in general, too.
Yeah, I think
what would you like to start with?
Do we really actually need credits? I guess we do.
If you said wanted to, if you want to leave the town, basically letting you walk around, but if you want to buy anything in the town or leave the town via their safari thing that, you know, something exists beyond that, because remember you looked it up and stuff and found they had this this kind of district where they run safaris out into the jungle. If you want to do that, you definitely need to be able to, like, do an economy roll to pay for it. You're not really allowed to do those without having local credits.
Well, I'm not doing an economy roll.
But that's what economy rolls are for. They're for buying things.
Gotcha.
So you use commerce to buy local things, and to negotiate this contract would be trade.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, so let's do that.
And if you do want to sell them this, you can also get trade with them, but it'd be easier for you to trade with Zumi Musk because you already spent the RVs on that. So yes, you can if you want.
Yeah, I just know that those have been sitting on our ship, and I didn't really know what the use of those were, so figured I'd ask.
Yeah.
Okay, so it makes more sense to just...
If you need stuff, you can totally buy stuff. But it does... You don't have to get a trade article with them. You need a privilege article to get local credits. If I told you opposite, right. That's just me making a mistake because I moved things when I created the articles like 3 months ago. Cool. Okay, so...
Okay, so yeah.
We are doing what is called a addendum, I believe. It's still called that. Or did I change that to changing everything? Where is it? Yes, you're doing either addendum or a procurement. I think this seems more like procurement. You're just trying to get this access. You're not really trying to like make a big deal, right? You're not trying to make a business deal or any of that sort of stuff. So you get one station, and the stations are captain. So pretty much you have to do the captain station, and that is the face-to-face conversation or comms-to-comms conversation with them. If you say you're doing an addendum or something, like you wanted to like actually make more of a deal rather than just buy something, you get more stations, you could do these other things like research and surveillance and stuff. Anyways, so let's just do that. This seems like you're just getting to business. You're like, hey, we need to have some money in this place. Let's do this. So yeah, let's just do that then. And you guys... I
need money, and I need to go on safari.
It sounds like you want to roll economy.
I'm terrible at that.
It's the captain's role, so.
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
So it's
is it economy trade?
Yes, it is.
I'm not totally terrible at it.
If you can get me a safari captain, I'll give you a die.
Well, you just need some money, so you guys have to decide how much money you want, and it gives you how many points. So each point costs 50. So it's probably going to cost you a total, if you want 2 points, it'll cost you a total of 75 RV in the end. So, did you roll? Oh, difficulty. I have to tell you the difficulty. Yeah. This is standard, regular, which is 3. It's based on the type of thing. If you're doing something illegal, it's more difficult. Oh, all of that's wrong. Oh. Okay. That is interesting. So you failed.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so
the ATM machine is empty.
No, you're still gonna get it. I just have to double check.
This guy's prejudiced against Septox.
So you come up and you're just like, hey, we need cash and stuff. We want to be able to use all your services and such. And you basically get straight to business. Maybe that's the wrong thing to do. Maybe this guy isn't a big fan of that.
Oh, you forgot to do the dance.
Well, maybe he wanted... He was happy you were here to see him in person. So, what happens is I get to put 2 of these dice in this bowl. And you currently have no points. So, if you want this to be successful, you have to compensate up to 3. And then I get dice to put in my bowl equal to that. How many points would you like?
So how many points does it take to get what we were trying to...
It's going to cost you 1 for access to all Suspretta ports in New Titan.
Okay. Is there anything else we needed, or is that all we...
And you want local credits. So I press the random button.
That's another one?
And so you need at least 1 point for that.
Okay. So 2 more then.
Okay, so you are getting 2. So I add 2 dice to here. And you now have a total of 16. And you've spent 15. And you're going to get 1 local credit then, right?
Yep.
Did you want it? You could get 1 more credit if you want. It's up to you. Or you could get 1 more... Oh no, you only needed 1 for credit, and then you have to determine how many you're going to spend. Sorry, I'm confusing myself. So, to open that, it costs you this, and then to open local credits, you want to spend for each. I just need the proper tool, text tool, and then... Okay, so this is going to cost you 50 to get 1. And so you can get up to 3. It'll cost you 75 RVs. How many would you like? And so these are like associations on your sheet. So one of you can get it, or each of you can get 1. So you can buy as much as this you want, but it's per die association you add to anybody's sheet.
Cool. I wouldn't mind 1.
So it's...
So
And then we would spend charge like any other...
Yeah. Yeah, it would just
Seems...
be like using any social connection. Once you have it in general, you can just spend for most basics. You don't have to do a roll at all.
Right.
And you can do rolls with it, where you can do rolls because you have it. So if you only spend 1, because you have it, you can just do these rolls. So as long as 1 crew member has a credit, then you can all do economy rolls. But unless one of you have credit, then you don't technically have the cash.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Or is it clearer than mud?
No.
Okay. But we can only it can only be one, or you could have it be higher. How does that work?
You can have it as high as you want. It can be up to 3 dice each, so you guys could technically spend like
a lot.
6, which would cost you 6 times 50. Cost you 300 RV, which is pretty much what you're here to do.
Yeah.
You probably don't want to have everybody have 3 dice on house.
Should we just have one of us get 1?
Sure.
Just.
It sounds like that's all you need, right?
Because it seems like, more than it's diminished returns beyond that. Right?
Yeah. All right. So do you want it, Captain? Throw it on your sheet.
You probably want it the person who's most likely to use it with their economy thing. So either the person with a low economy or the person with a high economy. But whoever that is should put down House of Sosparetta, New Titan on their sheet. And then local credit in the type of association.
Boom.
Okay, so you have this business conversation with him. It goes not great, but you get what you need. Do you want to follow this up with any other sort of conversation, or you're just going to say goodbye? And
Does he have got information like about local going-ons?
You could ask about that.
I mean, I could try to smooth this relationship over.
You could. So you finish the business.
I could like offer to take him to dinner after.
You could try that, I suppose.
Like,
Offer him.
Thanks
offer
for
him
the
our-
business doing. You want to have a fun time after this? I'm an octopus.
Do it. I want to hear this whole like dinner date. Just sit here and listen to you on this whole dinner date. Please. Please do it. What are you going to talk about at dinner? You could talk about, you could push him for information, wine and dine, get him a little bit drunk, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I think the actual goal is, any information. I mean, he's in a position to know a lot about what's going on around here.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could talk to him now, or if you want to try to invite him out for that, you could try to persuade him to go for some sort of invite you to a meal or something. If that's what you want.
Well, I mean, whatever is. I think Do I know how badly I misstepped with him?
You know that Keith. You were like, okay, let's get straight to business, and started talking about financials and stuff like that, and he was like, okay.
How offensive.
And then he kind of went into that, and his accountants came in, and the AI mostly just kind of took it over, and you kind of talked about it. But he looked bored and not excited to talk to you about this. He's like, okay, we're gonna do the businessy thing with the economy and business. Fun.
Right. So I mean, I'm trying to. Whatever I read is the best way to swing that back in the other direction. So if that means
you could be like, well, now the business is done, and then just start talking to him if you want. There doesn't seem anybody in line, but you couldn't tell. You can't see the beginning of it unless you're gonna go like try to scan the front door and see if there's anybody standing there waiting for you. You can just have a conversation.
Sense motive.
So he looks and goes, "Is that it?" He looks at you and he's, Sorry. He looks at you and he's like, "Okay, free spacer, is that everything?"
Well, that's all the business out of the way, at least.
He nods.
Getting saucy.
He nods at you. What do you say next? Paul, stop making fun.
I'm not.
I'll make you play the captain.
No. This is awesome.
What do you say, Brian?
Well, what do you do for fun around here?
I'm sorry. Okay. He looks at you and like, I have many duties and my family takes priority. Why do you ask? Strange murder hobo who's come to my door and we have many we do you can take a walk around the marketplace. The spice souk has many exotic materials that you could perhaps take a proof of. You could go on a safari. I suppose if you wished, you could take a tour of the spice processing facilities. They're
Man, you caught him off guard.
interested. He's a very like, okay, I'm now being a tourist guide to this person. He's like, he's got the, I'm kind of busy, but I guess I can talk to you about this thing going on.
I don't know. I'm just trying. Like he was disappointed that we just came in and wanted to talk about business, but he doesn't want to talk about anything else. I don't know. I'm having trouble getting a read on this guy.
You can do an insight and see why he wants what he wants.
Sense motive.
Yeah, let's do that.
Roll an insight. Challenged. Let's look at a sheet. So yes, insight, and the difficulty for this fellow will be 4. 5 actually. Okay, we'll just do 4.
I can roll one more day.
No, you succeed. I was trying to take too much into account. No worries. Oh, you didn't succeed. You got 1 die? Okay,
I got 1 hit.
Okay, so you look at him, and he obviously wanted you to marvel at his position a little bit when you came in and talk him up about how awesome it is that he's in charge of everything. He doesn't seem like he's in charge for a long time, and he wanted you to be impressed. And you just came up and started talking business, and then started to sleazy bar chat him up, which is also even more confused him. He was like, but I'm in charge of things. You should be like, wow, you're in charge of things, and be nice to me. That seems to be the main thing. He's also beyond that, he seems like he might also be a little bit distracted.
Why is he distracted?
But that's all you get. You only rolled 1 success.
Ask him about the brightly colored jumpsuits. That was crazy. What was that all about? It was just too weird to ignore. I don't know.
Sounds like they're from the spice factories.
Spice.
The spice. Mange. Nom, nom, nom. Yes, so that is what the read you get off of him. You didn't really get high enough to here's what you could do exactly to win him over, but you could probably just ask him questions. He seems to be answering your ridiculous questions, so he's not kicking you out yet. Although some of his guards are starting to look like they're bored and want to kick you out so they can play video games with their boss or whatever the hell they're doing.
Yeah, that's what they're going to do.
Oh my gosh, this is one of the best 10 minutes of so far.
I guess it's I mean, he kind of switches tactics and just starts laying on the compliments, I guess, and him in his office and his, certainly impressive architecture and whatnot of the building and all that.
So you kind of like just start talking about how amazing his house is and how much you like his chair and stuff. You're so impressive. Okay, so you kind of we'll take that as read. Convincing Brian to act these things out is so difficult. Anyways, you just start talking about it's so he responds, well, thank you. Yes, I recently came into my position, and I believe I hold it with much more majesty than my the late Holdmaster. They were practical, but they didn't understand the majesty and the respect that a strong society could bring outside the hold. You understand? So he kind of talks about how him looking great is a really good face for this kind of hold outside in the middle of nowhere, and makes them look really good. And he kind of suggests that tourists like it and other people like it, and it gets more respect from Finvar City and such. That he gets way more respect for Finvar City than the former group did. So that's what you get out of that. What questions do you want to ask him? Or information do you wish to glean, and how do you wish to glean it? Or are you just going to go do it out on the streets?
I mean, I'd like to get all kinds of information about whatever materials it would take to manufacture those explosives.
So you just tell him why you're there? Hey, we're here chasing terrorists.
No, I don't think I do. That's the problem. I don't know how
if you don't want to do that, then I guess it comes to the end. Unless you're going to try to come up with a clever way of asking him, hey, are there terrorists here?
Ask if any of the humans go on the safari that the Onyx go on.
Oh, there's humans around. I mean, Onyx is the most popular species, but minor species here include human, all three other major species, human, Atlas, and Septox are all here. You've seen several of them.
I wonder if I could take the tact of.
I don't think racial profiling is going to do everything you need, man.
We're interested. You know, we see that they've got some, you know, an interesting manufacturing base, and we're wondering if maybe this would be an appropriate place to set up some manufacturing and get at it.
He looks at you kind of weirdly because he knows free spacers can't really go and do that sort of thing until they like retire and become proper people again. But he suspects you must be talking about XMI.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. He looks. He goes, well, we've talked to XMI several times about increasing the sizes of our factories, and they are sometimes interested. Are you saying they sent you here to inspect it? He looks at you kind of like, that seems hard to believe. Are you coming to inspect it? You don't know.
I mean, just to gather information, I would say.
You're here looking for information. Okay.
Correct.
I want you to roll an insight. Difficulty 3. Actually, difficulty 4, but you get 1 advantage. Okay.
2 hits, that's better. We're heading in the right direction.
Well, it's the same as 1. He looks nervous about your idea of free spacers gathering information in his hold.
So he's not buying the idea that it's to increase manufacturing?
Well, no, he's just like, you don't send free spacers to do like, hey, we want to just upgrade your factory to do more exporting to XMI. You send free spacers to murder people or do investigations of terrorists or hunt down criminals or to boldly explore the unknown. You don't send them for, hey, we're thinking of doing a corporate expansion very often. Unless, the corporate expansion will include suppressing your union and forcing the leaders to do something to make sure they distribute enough and that sort of thing. You're troubleshooters. You shoot trouble. And he knows that. So he's slightly nervous when you say you want to just investigate things. But yeah, so that's what I'm saying.
Well, fair enough. He can be a little scared of us. That's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah. I'm just saying that's what you get out of that. So he's like, I suppose we could send someone with you to take you to the vats to see them, if you wish. I believe actually the group that just left are still having tea down the street, according to one of my. We can call them back. I will send a message to them, and they will take you and show you their factory. Much better for you to see it from them.
Sure.
Is there anything else I can help you with?
I mean,
Bracket. Can you please leave? I've got work to do. / you're free spacers and you're trying to freak me out because you seem to be here to investigate something.
We thank you for that offer. We'd definitely like to take you up on that. But in general, we were just. I guess the concern was the availability of the raw materials we would need for this manufacturing. There's
the
concern
jungles
that,
have a
that
great
the
wealth.
Supply.
The jungles have a great wealth. You can talk to, just make your own way. They're very open and lovely. Talk to the safari hunters.
Yes.
They bring in everything.
Yes.
Okay, so that's the source of the great resources.
Oh yes, the jungles on this island, this vast island, are full of amazing things. You will have a great time, I'm sure.
Just
Okay,
like
thank you.
the boulder.
Okay, so
You've been very helpful. Thank you.
so a couple of the guys in the riding pants carrying the kind of lance-like spear thingies start to just kind of walk towards you, like they're escorting you out and hoping you're just going to follow them. Kind of look.
Should probably
Sure.
follow.
Do you all leave, or do you just stand there and make them look kind of foolish as well?
I bow and take 2 steps backwards.
I follow them.
Okay.
So I,
Trying
Just
to
to check-
picture
check in
Snail
with you
bowing,
guys.
but okay.
so we've got the idea of like, tracking down the supply chain of how they're manufacturing these explosives. Do you guys have any other ideas of, other than just we want to check out the safaris because they're cool?
I want to kill some
Yeah, that's probably the
giant
best
beast,
feat that we have. I can't think of anything else.
and then I want to mount one of these spear things over your seat on the
Other
bridge.
than finding somebody who knows more about the organic material it comes from, where there might be like a concentrated area where it comes from more than others, or
Okay, so as you have this conversation, you're kind of walk to the front door. They let you through. There's a group of people standing there. They're all holding little cups made of some sort of material, flimsy-looking material, like whatever the analog of paper is here. They're all holding their tea in now paper cups, and they're kind of standing there waiting for you. Like someone told them to come and see you, which is probably what happened.
tea.
You saw tons of tea in the marketplace. It's just full of tea and spices. And
Oop.
there goes
Oop.
Brian.
He's back.
That was fun.
So we're
Are
here.
you still there, Brian?
Yeah.
Okay, because you disappeared for a second there. Okay, cool. So,
Just a glitch in the Matrix.
what do you say to them? You have a bunch of, like, a foreman or something from the local vats standing in front of you.
So what do we gotta do? Like lick a frog or something before we go on safari?
Might as well check out this factory if we've got an invitation.
So the fellow before you, he kind of he's Anak. He looks at you and he looks up and down and he's like, the holdmaster said you wanted to see the vats?
Yep.
Yes. Show me your vats.
He's like, okay, anything particular you want to see? He's like, I don't know what to do with you. Nobody's ever asked to see the vats. Kind of look on his face. As much as you can tell with a slimy person that can change their features.
Pretend we're quality control. We want you to show us.
He's like, I will show you around then. And he's just like, okay, fine, let's go back to work.
Show us everything.
Okay, so he leads you back. You exit this, you go down the hill from this nice, rich neighborhood into much more. You can see there's like very few big, because the whole place is kind of made out of these like prefab kind of buildings, and with these non-stick roofs and stuff. And you walk in and you basically, the neighborhood has kind of like a square prefab building, like 4 of them forming a square, and in the center is an open air bio factory with a giant one of the non-stick roofs. You walk in basically into the network or into the neighborhood through these buildings. And then once you get past the buildings, there's like, they're kind of like plastic. They're like, you've seen them before, biolabs and stuff have them. They're like, they look a little like plastic sheets hanging down, but they kind of stick to each other and they can create like barriers so that smells and biomaterials and air and stuff doesn't just move around freely. So they walk up and they ask you if you would like a VAT suit to wear for the tour.
Would I like one or do I need one?
Yeah, sure.
They have these like little helmets on with these little breathers.
Yeah,
They're not
just
helmets, they're like little, like, you know, like the little face things that you just little like.
That seems pretty important. Yeah, I'll take one.
So they're like, oh, it's not too toxic. It's if you work here for years, the masks are very important, but otherwise it's fine. But he passes them out, so these little things, and then the suits, and they're kind of just a off-white material. It's like almost a tan, but everyone is like saffron and orange and red and blue and cyan colored all over them, and purples from where they meet. And so he passes out suits. They have them for all the species represented. You take off your ship suits, so you don't currently have any armor, just so you know, before you murder, kill people and say, you didn't tell me. And you can hang your stuff up in there, and you can put back on your crew kit, like your shield device, which sits probably on your shoulder if you're a human, and your reactor fits on your back if you're a human, and you're probably still wearing your link and your multi-tool and all that stuff. So you put that back over top of the white suits and the masks, and he leads you into it. And so you go through this plastic door, and you see more of these divider sheets, but they're all multicolored. And so everything seems to be divided up into these sheets of silk hanging down that are multicolored, or sheets of plastic hanging down. And it's this huge room, and there's these massive vats of cooking liquid and pollen and whatever materials from out in the jungle. And they have these wheelbarrows full of spice that they're leading off, and these wheelbarrows full of other materials that they're dumping into the vats. So each vat is in a different, varying area of brewing. So like there's the one with the brand new materials in it, just started to cook, and they're usually just kind of a brownie color. And then you see people skimming them, and he tells you about the skimming process. And then they take it off, and finally when it comes out, it's usually a brightly colored spice of some sort.
Yeah.
And he tells you how they find it, and the different slime things have different flowers. And he basically gives you a basic slime-based, an ooze-based biology lesson for kid level. Like, it's not a lot, but it would refresh anybody with biosciences trained, and would be kind of fascinating for anybody with only like one biosciences.
So me.
Yeah.
So is our brand new biomechanics expert seeing any similarity between this chemistry and the chemistry of the explosives?
Yeah.
Why don't you roll?
Roll what?
Biosciences, biomechanics, and the difficulty would be 1.
1.
Yeah.
Whoa. One.
Jeez.
Why do I see 3 difficulty?
What?
You rolled 3
Okay,
difficulty.
Oh, I changed it. What? All right.
Well, the first die was your miss anyways, so it's still 1 success. No. This is a completely different. They're just dumping stuff in. They have a lot of. They're doing more. It looks like an ancient dyeing facility. You'd seen like ancient China in our time or whatever, or before, but they are doing other things too. You see, they have labs off to the side. They could maybe use those to make it, but the main process here is nothing like. They could maybe use these labs that they have to the side where they're genetically engineering them or tweaking them or whatever before putting it in, or during the middle of the process they come in and you notice they do dump certain materials in. So maybe they could make it in those rooms, but definitely not here. You would have to go into those rooms and analyze those labs specifically. But this process isn't making bombs. It's definitely making paprika.
Yeah, I'm just curious if like the raw materials that went to make those bombs are also like what they're using.
Present, yeah.
Not with one success. He'd have to go take samples, and his bioscience is sampling to actually take a series of samples and see if there's similar materials that would be able to be used somehow to make this other material.
Seems pretty innocuous, Captain.
But you can go check out those labs if you can figure a way of doing that. I mean, they didn't take you in the labs. He points at the labs and he says, yes, and we do many changes to certain materials to get the true nature of the spices out.
Sounds exciting.
We're also looking for ways of perhaps producing them behind the walls, but the ooze is difficult to cultivate, you understand. It moves around. And there's nothing like planting rows and then having them climb buildings to get more light. It's a difficult, which is why we still do. That's why the safari is so important.
Huh. Interesting.
Captain.
I mean, I don't know that we're going to learn that much more in the lab. I mean, it would be pretty improbable that we happen to find the place that those explosives are actually manufactured right off the bat. So I don't think there's anything more for us. It sounds like all the raw materials are going to be coming from these safaris. So that would be the start of our trail, right? Do we agree?
The lab at the back could be, but you'd have to sneak in there and do some investigation.
This isn't like the factory, right? It's just like a factory.
This is the spice factory.
Oh, okay.
This covers an entire neighborhood of the place. Right. It's massive. It's a massive.
Right, as long as we're here, we should try to talk our way into the lab.
It's larger than a football field, and you're starting to discover why everybody wears these funky suits and why it might have been good you did too, because by the time you get through, the tour seems like it's coming to an end, like he's moving towards the front. You look down, you realize that you are also now multicolored. The splattering and of the squeezing, you're pretty sure a lot of it came from the squeeze room because you're mostly orange. Like saffron orange, because that's what they were doing in the squeeze room. Basically, they fill all this stuff through a strainer, which is pretty much cheesecloth, and they take that and they squeeze the whole thing. And they keep all the good materials in, but the liquid flies out, gets everything stained. There's a certain amount of protection, but it still gets everywhere.
Okay, yeah, so if it looks like he's not going to take us to the labs, I'll, interrupt and... Oh, I'm sorry, did Holdmaster Torn not explain we were most interested in the laboratories?
He looks at you and goes, the labs? Well, we don't normally take people into the labs. You understand?
I'm sorry, they're what?
We don't normally take people into the labs. It's our more, the intellectual property secrets and that sort of thing are kept in the labs, you understand? And so,
yeah, right, of course.
Tours, which we don't. That's
why we had to go through, Holdmaster.
Sign an NDA.
Torn.
Okay, so you're gonna have to convince him of this. He's kind of looking at you skeptically. You do not get any bonuses by bringing the Holdmaster in unless you want him to contact the Holdmaster, which could be a possible failure of...
No, he definitely should not do that because I'm completely lying.
Okay, so this sounds like a performance test to convince him, yes, the Holdmaster wanted to do this, but you shouldn't bother him.
Yeah, why do you think we were sent by the Holdmaster Torn himself?
Very busy man.
Yes.
Make him upset. This
is definitely performance. You're putting on the Ritz here.
Okay, and difficulty?
Okay, so 4. 4 because it's highly irregular. It would be 3 if you're just trying to lie to him about something.
This is highly irregular. This is highly irregular.
Okay. He looks at you and goes, I'm sorry. The intellectual property in there is just... It's just Yes, we can show you that. But thank you for coming. We're very excited about the idea. I'm actually talking to one of my... one of the other people. The idea of giving tours here might bring a lot more the safari makes a lot of money on tourism as well as bringing in the materials that we use. I never thought of actually giving tours to the regular people that show up. I think I can probably talk to the safari boss, maybe making it a package deal. It'd be really interesting. And he starts trying to talk to you about logistics of this idea. He knows you work for a mega corporation and they do this sort of thing all the time. I mean, the House Sopretta, as you know, is kind of like an intellectual, like, based faction. They're like about libraries and research and discovering bold new things. They're not really about making lots of money. And you've given him an idea that could increase the funding, maybe their pay. So he's happy to think about that. So he just talks to you about that as he escorts you to the front. And
yeah, I'd probably keep it cordial and trade contact info or whatever. So that way, if we decide later we need to sneak into the laboratories, he can be our maybe get us to the first door.
Okay, so he is let me get his name for you. Let me guess, I don't have an empty sheet. He's Dr. Lou Manuel.
Manuel.
He's Onic, and he works for House Sopretta. He is probably a business, or he's probably an acquaintance, I would say.
Safari.
I have to figure out his whole manual. Okay, cool. So, are you guys just leaving, or are you like sneaking around the side and back after you leave to get in, or something like that? You can do other sorts of approaches if you want.
I don't think we have a good enough reason to do something that risky yet.
Do that later when you're...
Might be a red herring.
Yeah, when we're either more sure or more desperate.
The herring would be saffron colored, obviously, Paul. I'm sorry. It wouldn't be a red herring, it would be a saffron
Good point.
herring.
Good point.
Okay. So, you guys gonna head off to the safari,
Yeah, I want to kill something.
the safari lodge, then?
Yes.
Oakley Dokley, do you want to take a break first? It's almost 8.
Yes.
20 to 8. Seems like a good time to take a break.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Cool. Okay, see you guys at in 15 minutes or at 8?
Okay.
8 o'clock then. See you then.
Cool.
Ciao.